Me. Oh, okay.
Hi, this is Krystine with the BeautyPro podcast. I am here with the fabulous, the cutest Miss Lexi Lomax. How are you?
What an intro. What an intro. Thank you so much. I'm great. I'm super good.
Good. You look so cute.
Oh,
You're in your
thank you.
cute little nook. You have your cute little sweater. I just love
Yes.
it all.
Yeah, I know you look nice and warm. I'm like freezing. We are having, just not normal California weather.
So I'm here in Florida, so this is awesome. Totally opposite sides of the country. And it's cold, but it's like wet, but it's hot, but it's like a nightmare for hair, skin, everything. Like
Man.
I'm freezing, but I'm too hot to put anything on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, like it's sticky.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
ridiculous.
thanks. Well, your hair looks
Ridiculous.
great. Doesn't look like it's fighting the humidity.
Thank you, babes. Thank you. Thank you. So for those people listening or watching on YouTube, who don't know you, fill everybody in and tell us who you are.
All right. Well, my name is Lexi Lomax. I'm a salon business coach and mentor. And if you do know who I am, that's how you probably know me. But before I was that, um, I have been a salon owner in San Diego for this year, 2024, will be year 18. And so those are my receipts, right? To get me here to be able to mentor people in their businesses. And I have a lot of life as a salon owner in 18 years. I have a lot of experiences that like just crazy. Like that's just a lot of years. So um I am a mom and a wife and like just have a life also, but and that's really one of the most important pieces to who I am as a business coach and as a business owner is that everything that I do is ultimately so that I get to live my life on my terms. And so that's how I show up first and foremost is, and I call it the Dream 10 philosophy. But it's that like, what's the point of doing anything if you're not happy?
Absolutely.
And I know that can be like a super loaded statement, but for me it's a guiding one.
Hmm. And I love that too, because we talk a lot about that in the podcast and even in my own coaching and classes. Like you are a human being first, and then you're a
Yeah.
stylist, an
Yeah.
artist, whatever it is. Like you have to like separate your two beings, if you will.
Yeah, I think you separate it, but then also you figure out how you do this balancing act,
Hmm.
because you take you with you no matter what
Yeah.
role
Oh,
or title you're wearing.
I love how you put that. Yeah. You take you wherever you go.
Yeah, there's
That's
no
cool.
escaping that.
No. No. So you mentioned you have a lot of crazy kind of experiences with your salon.
Yeah.
Share some of the failures and some of the, I don't know, the crazy with us.
The crazy. Okay. Well, failures and crazy don't always go hand in hand, right?
No,
Crazy can
no,
just
they
be
don't.
crazy. So some of my biggest failures as a salon owner,
Hmm.
I would say, were when I lost sight of my original vision.
Mm.
And when I allowed other people to step into like a guiding role of where we were driving the boat, right? Like, excuse me, like I'm the captain.
Hmm.
And like if you step away or even just like allow other people to like give you direction, that really can change course. And so there have been moments over 18 years and like I wasn't always, I mean, I always have had extreme business acumen and looked at the business that way, but leadership and business skills are two very different things.
Mm.
And my leadership skills, as much as I think I'm a born leader and like it comes very naturally to me, there's just some things when you're 20 years old and you open a salon you're just not ready for. And you just don't have enough life experience.
No.
And I got life experience real quick, right? My girlfriends
Yeah.
were out at the bars and frat houses and all the things, and like I couldn't do that because I had responsibilities outside of going to college. um and I was going to college and opened my salon at the same time. I was not a hairdresser, so definitely like a wacky way to end up here. Not the traditional path, but I think that those failures really came from leadership early on. And some of it honestly was like self-leadership, like it just wasn't mature. And I don't think that maturity has anything to do with age because after all of these years as a salon owner, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And some of the craziest people that I've worked with were the oldest. Like it doesn't actually have anything to do,
Yeah.
it's just who they are or who you are, right? And you have to deal with that, like what we were saying. But leadership, you just make a decision, honestly, especially with self-leadership. You just decide how bad you want it. And those were things that really aided me to make those failures like kind of like an oh shit moment and turn it
Yes.
into like, okay, actually I'm gonna be the best freaking leader ever because of this. And so like to me, I think we always fail forward. We learn. I'm very positive. Um, it's kind of like intrinsic in who I am, but
Mhm.
I most definitely, I mean, I didn't pay my property taxes the first 2 years. Like it's not a win.
Oops.
Whoops. I was like, this is too expensive. Like well, no, I didn't. The first year I did pay. I think it would have been in 2009 and 10. I opened in 2007. So like in the first 5 years, I didn't pay 2 years of property taxes. That comes around to bite you. Like I owed so much money and I had to like go down with like my tail between my legs and be like, okay, so I know I owe you this money, but I don't know what to do. And they like, I got on a payment plan because I just was like naive and
Yeah.
and it was the recession, right? Like the real
Mhm.
recession that we went through in 2008, 9, 10, whatever those years. And so like I literally couldn't. And it was a matter of me like paying my mortgage, which I never defaulted on. And I was the only mortgage that didn't get defaulted on that mortgage broker wrote in 2007.
Whoa.
Like and I'm still his client, like he's still my private banker and like now he's
Yeah.
the big dog and and we're
Yeah.
just 18 years older. And so he always, has just been wonderful. But like those kind of things, like just stupid stuff. But like I was doing my best. And I
Mhm.
understand how those things happen because they've happened to me, but you have to make choices sometimes. And like
Yeah.
where does it come from? And so those things were definitely failures. Crazy people are crazy, teach you a lot. I'm super grateful for all the crazy people, I
Mhm.
will say, but like there have been things where like, like what are you gonna do? Like you can't help who they are. Like
Right.
all you
You're
can
just
do is
like,
react and
okay.
control you.
Right.
And sometimes that's easier said than done. And sometimes it's a matter of like, I mean, I've done some things that like this chick was so nuts. She was one of my very first renters. And I packed her stuff up and set it outside. I was like, you cannot work here. And like she was not responsive. And then of course it was my fault. And
Mhm.
but I'm like, no, F that. Like you
Yeah.
don't work here. And like I didn't know that like that's not legal in California.
Right. You can't do that.
You can't do that. You definitely can't do it now. Maybe then you could. Maybe
Yeah.
2007 the
A
laws were a
little
little bit
different.
different.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they were in favor of the renter always. But I
Mhm.
was just like, this is absolute BS. And I'm just not like, this is not how we're doing things. And so some of those things were good. Like they were failures looking back in my leadership.
Mhm.
But like that got around and people knew that like you didn't mess with me. Like that
Right.
I wasn't like that the salon mattered to me. Like I wasn't
Right.
just one of those salon owners and I don't know
Mhm.
how long your listeners have been in the industry, but like in 2007 it was a very different world. Like
Mhm.
we didn't have the internet the way that we have the internet. To have a Facebook you had to be a college student,
Right.
right? Like we're in a different world and so it really and a different business world
Yeah.
entirely. And so and the hairdresser was not as elevated as we are today, like
Mhm.
they just weren't. And so
Mhm.
so a lot of things were failures that I'm super grateful for, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you said it best though. You fail forward. And I've been saying that a lot lately too. And it's just one of those things that just we have just I hate to use the word evolve, but we've definitely evolved in the last
Yeah.
several years since that time, since that recession. And we are so
Oh,
advanced,
for sure.
And so you do
Well,
have
and
to
and I mean,
fail
even
forward.
since the pandemic, we just like
Yeah.
had to do better.
Yeah.
Like, how
Get
about
creative.
I've been saying this a lot and it's pretty rude, but like I whatever. Um, thank God our clients' hair keeps growing
Right.
because so many salon owners, so many stylists, so many business owners in our industry are terrible at business. Like if their client's hair didn't grow, there's no reason their client would come back.
Yeah.
Like, and if that's offensive, like it may be a reflection of something you need to take a peek at. But like, if you're listening and you're like, I don't like this chick, well, okay. But like, look at your business,
Yeah.
you know, because it's
Yeah.
really, I'm blessed that I have all these years of experience
Mhm.
and that I failed forward so many times to end up where I am. But there are so many people that I come across with that are not in that situation, right? Because they're either new or starting out, or they didn't have the, frankly, the privileges that I did in life and business, or experiences, skills,
Mhm.
whatever it is, and they're figuring it out. And it's like, hey, like, you're not in a real good spot, but we can change that. Like, that's
Mhm.
the actual beauty of our industry, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yes.
Um, but it comes back to self-leadership. You have to want it.
You have to want it. You have to want it. You got to be aware of who you
Yeah.
are, what you're
Yeah.
capable of.
Yeah. And
So,
your limitations, and know where to like ask for help. And so the amazing thing is that you hire a coach.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
get like, or you just slide into their DMs and say, freaking help me. And if it's me that you come to, like, I'm going to talk to you whether you're my paying client or not.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
there's just if you, generally speaking, if you ask for help, you're going to get something.
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So I checked out your website a little bit and I found that you're an only child. Me
Yes.
too.
Ah, hey.
Woo, hey. And both of your parents are business owners too? Like you grew
Yeah.
up coloring
Yes.
at the end of the
My
board,
tagline.
like board table. Yeah, like explain that background because even your verbiage now is not of a typical hairdresser.
Well, I'm not,
So
you know?
I want to know that story of growing
Okay.
up and then you weren't even a hairdresser when you bought the salon to begin with. So,
Mm-mm.
no, listen.
Yeah, so I'll give you the like Reader's Digest version. So I'm kind of an only child.
Okay.
I have half siblings of that from my dad's first marriage. And I but I was like a second life baby. So like I
Right.
grew up just pretty much me. My siblings are much older than I am. So they were like pretty much out of the house by the
Okay.
time I came around.
Sure.
And also I just like, I don't know, like what only child, I don't know what your life was like, but like you just go everywhere with your
Mhm.
parents, you know. And I
Yeah.
had and our family is very close knit, and has really, like, I think, great values and things like that.
Hmm.
Of course I do, it's my family.
Sure.
But so it was really important to my parents that I was like a part of that, they were a part of my life, right? Like I didn't just
Right.
stay with grandma when they had business. And so my dad was a very serial entrepreneur, but always like made money.
Right.
But he made money and had fun and did other things. And so
I love it.
you know, and like always tried a little this or tried a little that. And I mean, so you name it, the only thing that he didn't have was a salon or a restaurant. Yeah.
Very
So,
cool.
but on my mom's side, so literally both of my grandparents, like both sets were
Uh-huh.
entrepreneurial, and then it's just like down the line. So it's just
Right.
literally in me. And so I just went everywhere with my parents, like on deals, etc. And like they would be talking business in the front, and like it would be like how we'd practice math in the back of the car. like 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 it would be like, here's the, like, I would run the numbers, and like I would have to, even though like they were 10 steps ahead of me, I would still have to come with a figure. Like I would color at the end of the boardroom table, literally. Like I remember specifically being, my dad did a lot of business all over the country, but and in Canada and Mexico as well. And so it was like development, like
Yeah.
so construction development, this sort of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember like this man who just had like these pink alligator shoes on, like, and he was fancy, right? And so then we would get in the car and I'd be like, okay, but did you see his shoes? Like, why don't you wear shoes like that, Dad? And like there were just like
Yeah.
lessons everywhere, right? And and then we met him again and he didn't wear his pink alligator shoes, and I was like, why not? You know, like, so it's just like super curious. And you know, my curiosity, I don't know how old I was. I must have been like less than 10. I just
But
remember
that
like,
like stood out to you, like pink alligator shoes. No
well,
way.
right. And like we're in this like very fancy high rise, like in Phoenix. And like, you know,
Yeah.
I just like, there were things that
Yeah.
I was picking up on, and I'm like, okay, like tell me about this and tell me about that. And even though my parents like did very well, um, I'm very humble and
Mhm.
like very down to earth and real. And so
Mhm.
um like my dad wore like construction boots, like lace up, like boots. Like, yes, he wore it like when he wore a
Yeah.
suit for that, like it's not a fashion faux pas kind of guy. But like, like it just like different, right? And so I
Right.
always was very curious and they encouraged me like to be very, very curious about things. And like when we would if I went to a meeting and also like if I think now, I'm like, I would never take my child to a meeting. Like, it's
This
just
is
like
true.
unprofessional. But like
Right.
my dad didn't give a rip.
Yeah.
He's like, if you want me, this is how I show up. And like that kind of authenticity is really quite powerful to witness as you become a business owner and a
Yeah.
human, frankly.
Yeah.
Um, but so like those sort of things, like, my whole life was kind of like that. So I did grow up coloring at the boardroom table. We would play business. Like if there was an empty strip mall, like what could we put here? And ultimately, like, we would play business and talk about like what kind of business could go there and how
Mhm.
how that would come about. And like people listening are probably like, what? That's weird. Like so weird. But it was just my childhood and I thought it was really
Right.
fun and I loved the puzzle and I could keep up and or I learned to keep up. I don't know what it was, but um and because everyone was entrepreneurial around me, it was just all I knew, right? But
Yeah.
so when I was in college, my parents developed a strip mall and I was like, "Hey dad, I want one of those buildings." So rude. Like what a brat, right? Like I want one of those. Like give me my Oompa Loompa now, right? And they were like, yeah, yeah, okay, bring us your business plan. Like we're playing business again, right? But at this point, my grandmother had owned rental salons in Arizona. I had spent a lot of time in the salon as a child with my mom, who was kind of like a primp and kind of go gal.
Okay.
Um, consistent root touch up, like, and I
Yes.
would go with her. I love the salons. I did some modeling and some like, like
Yeah.
I had a lot of water perms in my life. And I loved the salon. I mean, I loved everything about the salon. So I was, and actually, when I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to cosmetology school. My parents were like, "You can do that after you go to college. Like,
Okay.
we can pay for college. You did what you need to do to go to college, so you're going to go to college."
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't want to. And I tried to talk all my girlfriends into going cosmetology school so that we could have a bus and like do traveling hair. Can I tell you how like that was really like kind of an idea in 2004?
That was
Uh,
that I remember like seeing people trying to do that too. Oh my
yes.
God, Lexi, that's
Like,
so cool.
yeah. So, and they were like, I'm sorry, no, I'm going to be an attorney.
You're like boring.
Yeah. Can I tell you that
Bye.
yeah, I'm like, why? So my very best friend is an attorney. And I tell her all the time, could have been me. Could have been me. When she's like, oh, I have this thing and it's so stressful. And I'm like, yeah.
You're like, that sucks. I laugh every day.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Yeah.
hang out and like whatever. So, but anyhow, I mean,
Okay.
and also it's so wonderful having a best friend for an attorney. Um,
I hear it. Like you have your like besties with your banker. You have a friend who's an attorney. Like this is good. This is what people need to hear. Like build your network,
yeah,
people.
you can. I mean, I didn't know in kindergarten when I picked my best friend that this was going to turn out, but
Well,
yes, yeah,
you know.
turns out. But it's who you surround yourself with and the
Yeah.
relationship. It's everything is relationship. So ultimately, long story short, my business plan like actually made sense to my parents, and they were like, okay, well, now where are you going to get funding, right? And so ultimately, like they helped me secure my funding. But then in that first year, we refied, used the building as collateral, like all this super creative stuff, and got my parents off my note. So within that first year, I had paid them back. But I just had a giant loan with the bank, which, by the way, I still have less of a giant note 18 years later, but
Oh,
I was
wow.
still
Yeah.
paying on it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's and then I started, and I was in my junior year of college. I opened the salon during finals week, and life has kind of been like that. Like it's been like, let's do all of it at once, and then we'll
Yeah.
like, and then like, oh, and like that. And so, um, I just always stuck with the vision that I wanted to open this business, and the real core behind me opening this business was in the area that I live is pretty affluent,
Mhm.
but also like kind of It's East San Diego, like East County, San Diego.
Mhm.
It's not south, it's not north. It's just like if you're at the airport, you just drive straight. Like you just straight east. And it kind of has like a more like countryish kind of vibe. Like some
Okay.
people have horses and this sort of stuff. But there
Okay.
was nowhere, I didn't think, in East County, in this area specifically of San Diego, that like people who lived here would go to those salons to get the kind of experience that they could afford and wanted to pay for, but they just didn't want to drive to like the beach cities, to La Jolla, to downtown because it's far and like
Hmm.
that doesn't work for your life. And that was really honestly like my scenario. Like the salon that I went to, um, like I loved my stylist, but the salon was gross. Like
Mm.
it just wasn't, it didn't fit the vibe,
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right, right.
and to pay that like and granted it still worked and like that was fine. Like it's totally fine because you are where you are and you can only do what you can do and that salon owner is still very successful and still around. Like she's probably the only salon owner that's been in business in our area longer than me by like a probably 30 years. So like she's got it going on. She's been here a long time. But you know, like I wanted to create that destination in our area, and
Yeah.
so it really did make sense. And then slowly but surely after that, I kept people wanted to buy the salon. People wanted to hire me to like I was young, and people were like wanted to hire me at like large areas, different like malls that were in the area to take over their salons. They wanted me to be consultants for them. They wanted like all this stuff happened because I just went for it. And some of those things worked out and some of them I was like, why would I do that? Like that doesn't make any sense. And then from there I just kept doing it. I graduated
That's so
college,
cool.
was like, okay, I'm going to go to law school now. Because I just wanted to be a landlord, right? At that
Hmm.
point, glorified. I was like, this is going to run and make sense and take care of itself. And then I was like, no, but I still really love this.
Mm.
So ultimately, I did an apprenticeship in my own salon and I worked under my staff, right? And they trained me and I did my hours twice as many as like if I went to school, but I just like I couldn't go to Cosmo school. It didn't make sense for me. Like if I had this salon, like it just
Right.
didn't like of course I could have, but I didn't want to. And so it took twice as long, but I did it and I'm super grateful for that and grateful to all of the women in my salon who supported me. Some of them are still there, some of them are not. And now I've been licensed. I think this year's gonna be 15.
Wow, what a cool story. Your own
Yeah.
team kind of nurtured you. And
Yeah.
so there's that balance, where you're like you're the captain, but you are also the
Right.
help
And
too.
some of those years were tricky. I'm not gonna lie, because
Yeah.
they were doing me a huge solid.
Yeah.
You know, so like
Totally.
it was almost like a reciprocity thing where like I allowed some of those relationships to perhaps have more weight than they should have. Like
Mm,
it was tricky to manage, I'm not gonna lie,
yeah.
but it certainly worked. And well, I think only one of them is still there, Laura. And she's just fantastic and she's been there, yeah, I guess I was like 16 years.
Oh. Hey Laura, hope you're listening.
I know she's the best. She's the
So,
best.
so what's been like hearing all of this is like really inspiring. Like you had a really good, solid foundation and training from the get-go.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
now,
I mean, I can't, that's how I did it.
yeah, it's amazing. I love it. It's like I'm taking mental notes for my future kids. Like, okay,
Yeah.
got it. But what has been maybe your biggest struggle or your biggest failure, whether it's personally or professionally, and what did you learn from it?
Hmm. I mean, I'm not really someone with a lot of regret. And like, even things like when it hits a fan, I'm just like, it's fine. Like, we'll
You're like,
work
this
it
is
out.
fun.
Right. I'm like, oh, great. This sucks today. But like, I just like wouldn't, that's not something that like I would think about. Um, I mean, I definitely think that from a leadership perspective, like losing sight of what I was doing or
Yeah.
becoming too distracted by other things,
Mm,
taking my eye off the ball for sure. Whether that was like financially with the property tax thing, like I could have done something, you know, but I just
mhm.
like I could have asked for help.
Yeah.
I could have asked for help before it became like a giant problem we couldn't ignore. I think moving too quickly on some things, like, can I tell you how many times I had to learn the lesson of like just freaking slow down?
Oh, that's
Like
me.
Yeah, yeah. And like you have to slow down. And that like saying no is a good thing. Like
Mhm.
saying no protects your peace, protects your boundaries, protects your financial situation. Like really, really weighing the pros and cons. Having a really great CPA, like things you want to have. Like don't hire cheap, weird people. Like just the things that matter, you need to spend money on, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And I always was kind of a person that believed in a lot of quality, but like there are things you just don't know until
Mhm. That's
you
so
know,
true.
and
That's
always
so
save more
true.
money. Always save more money.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite questions to ask, so we'll see. But what insult have you ever gotten that you're so proud of today?
Oh man, I don't know. Um, mm, oh, I don't know. This woman tried to shove me during the pandemic because she wouldn't wear a mask. I mean, she did shove me, but
She
like I,
shoved you? That's
yeah,
so weird.
she was horrible. And
Like
that I'm
it's
actually kind
like
of proud.
it's like pandemic, don't touch. Like what are you doing?
I swear, I like had to put a chair between us. It was the day before Thanksgiving, which, by the way, I've been on the day before Thanksgiving at the salon. It's really mellow and chill. Everybody's just taking a break. Um, and so, yeah, she was horrifying. And it was just like California had just reopened, and people, it was very tricky. And regardless of anyone's personal beliefs about like if we wanted to wear the masks or we didn't, or like all of those things, the like we were, I was just like, we need to be open. So whatever we have to do, like we have to do it. And in San Diego, like we have some people, like like it's a red part of California.
Okay.
San Diego is.
Okay.
So, but like you still have a lot of blue kind of people. And so
Sure.
like in the salon, we have a very varied clientele. And
Right.
so like not to like make this a whole thing, but like you can probably pick up what I'm putting down. So
Yes.
this woman that didn't want to wear the mask is like exercising her rights. And
Uh-huh.
I just want to have my right to have my business open, right? And
Right,
I
right.
don't care about anything. If you would have told me I have to wear a bag over my head, like and like show up nude, I would have done it. Like
Yeah,
I
like
would have done it. And so I was just like personally affronted by her. And so she didn't like say anything about me. But she physically like tried to assault me and was like, gonna like push at me. So I ended up getting the chair between us. I'm not a violent person, I'm not an aggressive person, whatever. And I just was like, this can't be happening. But here's the deal. Like you have a choice to either be here or not. And like, but I'm proud of how I reacted in that situation. My team was really proud of me, and that makes me happy in that moment because I defended like what was important to us, and like that was like a really unifying thing that I had no idea. And like it was like
Mhm.
honestly, if someone would have been recording it, it would have went viral because the woman was just absolutely off her rocker. Like, and what she was saying, like it just it was like I wish it would have been recorded, but it wasn't. And like we don't have audio or whatever on our security
Right.
camera. Yeah, it was just not good. But that was something that like I was like, yeah, actually, I am here for me. Like, this solidifies why I'm here and what I'm doing. And that felt really good, to
Mhm.
be like, yeah. And also, like, F you get out,
Yeah.
like it's everything was so heightened the day before Thanksgiving. It's
Yeah.
double, double. And we were finally open and making money, right? Like,
Right.
it was like we had just, because California was closed like 36 weeks of 52 or some
Yeah.
absolute
Yeah, yeah.
number. And so I that just to me was like, don't F with me and don't F with my business. And at that moment, I don't know if that was like a pivotal moment for me of like, no, I'm standing in this and like, I'm going to do whatever it freaking takes from here on forward, which I had probably decided before,
Mhm.
like years before. But then I was like, no, I'm like taking care of my team. And that was something that I'm really proud of. Honestly, like when people have things to say, uh, I'm like, there was an assistant that said I was like, oh, what did she call me? I don't know. That one was funny. Like just like that I was super like demanding and whatever. And I think I asked her to like sweep. She sucked so bad. Like there's like I don't remember things like that because like that doesn't serve me, right?
Right.
And so yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything, but that moment specifically where that woman, I'm sure she had called me all kinds of things and I
Oh,
would be
sure.
whatever she called me. Um, but I just knew in that moment, like that was a defining moment for me as a leader
Yeah.
of like, no, this is my responsibility to take care of every single woman in here. And who the hell do you think you are coming into my business that I've worked my ass off and then also been through the ringer this year? Like, no, we ain't got time for that.
I love
Like,
it. I love
so
that.
I was like, gonna take my hoops out for that one. But you know, I just I don't I I can't think of anything specifically. I don't know. I think
No,
any
that's good. That's a great one. What do you mean? That's a perfect
yeah,
one. You're like, whoa. Like the
yeah,
mama bear came out, like, I am
yeah, no,
protecting all of us. Like, don't mess with me.
yeah, we just had had enough, you know? And I
Yeah.
understand that everyone had had enough, but it was like, this is not the place that you're gonna come for us, okay?
We're trying to have fun here.
Right. Like, and
God.
everyone else was like, didn't, no, all, you know, it's like we're all literally dealing with the same thing everywhere. And like, why are you gonna pick on me? Go to like somewhere like a corporation or like go so
Yeah.
like go anywhere. But like you're
Yeah.
not gonna make your point and like she's like, I'm gonna get the news. I'm like, please do. Please do. Like we could use the publicity.
Yeah.
Bring
Do
it.
me the favor.
Yeah.
So, what is a myth that you face every day about what you do?
Oh gosh. Like that being self-employed is like actually relaxing.
Uh-huh.
Or like that it's like easier, you know, like those sort of myths I think are really kind of comical. Um and it is, it's all work. It just depends on what kind of work you are willing to do. And then the reward, right? Like there's no such thing as like great reward without great risk.
Mm.
Like you know, unless maybe you win the lotto. But
Mhm.
like literally like you're going to they're connected. It's variably connected. And so I just think like you get in what you put out and that nothing is actually easy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
What or who are your three most influential like people that you look up to in
Oh,
life and business?
um, well, definitely my parents, right? Because they set the
Yeah.
tone. Um, but like now, as like my own woman, I mean, my husband is a huge supporter of me and also like a really great sounding board.
Mm.
So he also comes from an entrepreneurial family. Yeah, so we just like got it going on. Our poor kids. They're
They're gonna
gonna be
be
like, we're
like,
gonna get jobs.
yeah.
We're gonna go work for the post office. Um, so that'd be great, actually. I think that would be
But
kind of a
that's
cool.
a great job too, though.
Yeah, great job. Sometimes I'm like, man, what a great job. Like when I daydream, like I see our mailman and I'm just like, hey, what's up? And actually, sometimes we have this young woman and she just is always listening to her earbuds by herself. I'm like, that is a cool job. Like I would
That's
love
a
that.
vacation right
Yeah,
there.
right. No people.
You drive around all
Literally,
day.
the worst thing you're worrying about is a paper cut. Like, I mean, this is good. Okay, so definitely Josh, my husband, he is just fantastic and so smart and like just really uh brings it on back to what we're doing, right? Like he can
Good.
pull me down. I say he's my orange cone all the time. I'm the bulldozer and I'm just like, let's freaking go. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, let me just place this orange cone here to just make you slow down a little bit. Um,
I love
Sometimes
that.
it doesn't work anyways, but you know, that's a relationship. And then honestly, like in business, I have a couple business mentors that are just very successful in what they do. Nothing to do with beauty, but they are just
Mhm.
like business owners that I really, really look up to, that I have personal relationships with, that their businesses like literally run $1 million circles around mine, like multi, and
Mhm.
just always fascinated by what they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have various business mentors all the time in my business. So, like, as a coach and a mentor, I think it's great to further your own mentorship. I think having a therapist is like one of the most important people to look up to. So, like, shout out to Dr. Kat. Like, and it's not like we don't talk about business, but it keeps you right? Because you're still taking me
Right.
with you. Gosh, like so many, like my girlfriends, like
Mhm.
just those people, like the people that keep me centered are the people that I really like should credit some of my business success to,
Yeah.
because even though they may not know what's going on in business, like they know what's going on with me and
Yeah.
they help that. So
Mhm.
Yeah, but I definitely think having like trusted business advice or advisors are really important. Family member, whoever it
Yeah,
is. For me, it's always kind of fluctuates and changes depending on like what I'm into. Like then I'll find a mentor that can help me in that
in that
area.
area. Yeah.
But I always have those like, and a lot of them are like business associates of my parents.
Oh,
And those people that like I'll talk to, and my cousin. I don't I've been zooming all day today. I'm like, well, I didn't tell you about my cousin. But earlier I talked about my cousin, but my cousin and her husband are really successful entrepreneurs as well. And so like we always sit down, like family time is always like
yeah.
laugh, 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 cocktail, haha, games, kids, whatever. And then it's like, okay, business.
Yes, I love
And
it.
so yeah, it's just it changes, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I love it. No, but I love that. I absolutely love that. As
And
we
also my
grow,
intuition and gut.
yes, that is so powerful.
Like that to me is actually probably the most important like thing that I listen to
Yeah,
for
for
me.
sure. I love it.
Yeah.
So, what is an area, or no, what is something that no one agrees with you about?
Mm.
Like it could be anything.
Gosh, I get my way a lot. Um,
Okay.
no, I'm kidding. I mean, kind of. Uh, oh, no one agrees with me. I mean, there are things, gosh, like I love it when people disagree with me because it challenges like new perspective and but you know what a lot of people disagree with, which is annoying and something that I come up against almost daily in some fashion is that like people like think that retail isn't valuable in the salon anymore.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And I'm like, that's annoying and not true. I'm like, well, if you say that, it's not going to be for you. That I can
Yeah.
guarantee you.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
have, okay, so I do see your reels all the time, which by the way, I freaking love your reels.
Thank you.
They're like so easy. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing that too. And I do
Oh
it.
yeah,
And
no, it's got to be lazy. It's not a lot of effort around here. Like I just need things to work and be efficient.
yes.
I
And
got time.
so, and I do see your retail wall and it's so beautiful. And I'm
Thank
like,
you.
good for her, you know? And now to hear
Yeah,
you say that, yeah, I mean, if it's not
it's
there,
hard.
clients don't buy. At least that's my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that ultimately, like, if you're not selling retail, like, if you, it's not important to you, so it's not important to your clients.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, honestly, it's similar to like parenting. If it's important to you, you make a point of dealing with it and like parenting on it and whatever it is, and then it will become something that your child will do and it becomes the standard. And so the same thing, I'm not saying that parenting is like having clients in the salon,
Oh
but like
man.
it's but also like with your staff certainly like I get a lot of messages and people are like, oh, like I can't, how do I motivate my staff to sell, and I'm over here just like selling more stuff and it's my staff's ideas like of how we're doing it because they are so, because it's a mindset, it's that self leadership that comes back to how we make it all happen. But ultimately, like if you don't sell retail, it's because it's not important to you or because you don't have a system to support you in the process. And so one of those things we can easily fix.
Mhm.
And the other one will take work and only you can fix that. But there are easy remedies for both. Excuse me. And so, honestly, that's something that people disagree with all the time. And I love it when people send me like, they send me DMs of like videos and stuff, and they're like, see, and I'm like, cool, opinions are plentiful.
What a great response. I love,
Yeah, I mean, what about like, that's amazing. Like, I love
oh,
it for
so
them.
happy for them. That's great.
Yeah, I don't care. It has nothing to do with me.
So let me see. What else? Oh, okay. So being in the industry for a while, having the background that you do, what is a lesson that you have learned working in the beauty industry that you wish everyone from like your mailman to the garbage guy to whatever that you wish that those people learned that you learned in the beauty industry?
Hmm. Gosh, like before you do anything, like say something, send something, do something, take action, make a change in your life, ask yourself, what is the point?
Mm.
Like, just really like slow down and say, what is the point? What is the end goal? Like, what do I want out of this? What does this mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
And then reassess if that action, that send, that thing is the right thing.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because we just like do stuff to be busy and it's so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
who
it
wants
wastes
to be
time.
busy? Yeah, waste time, but also like you were going straight and now you're over here because you didn't slow down to think about it. Like you can't, those hard, or even just like 1 degree off course, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like think
Yeah.
about if you were in an airplane, like you're screwed. You're not going to the airport.
No, you're not.
Making an emergency landing. Like that is not the way. And people do not slow down long enough to figure it out because they don't actually want to give themselves enough credit or responsibility, I think personally. Um, and so they just do random things to fill their time. And instead they really need to look at like what they want, what would make them happy, what the end goal is. And like sometimes those are hard conversations, but it's way worth it. I'd rather be 1 degree off course for a hot second than for my whole life.
Mm. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, that was good.
It's
You're
welcome to
welcome.
the office.
Yeah. So, what do you have going on right now that people can get, like, they can work with you, they can get more involved with Lexi's world?
Yeah, I would love to welcome people into my world. It's a fun place to hang out, and we get lots of results. So, primarily, my main offer is Salon Quarterly. Salon Quarterly is a system that I've created out of necessity for myself as a salon owner, and I needed to make more money, and we needed more clients. So, like, yeah, if that's you, raise your hand. Like, right? Like that's
Hey.
like who doesn't want to make more money or like get more clients? And also the third little piece of that is as a salon owner, you don't want to be the revenue generator in your salon. Like you want to step
Mm.
out from behind the chair. So like I wanted less time behind the chair. My salon was successful when I created Salon Quarterly. When the system was born, right? It didn't have a name when it first happened. It just was like what I did,
Hmm.
but I wanted to work less behind the chair, but I was making so much money behind the chair. Like, how do you do that? Like, how
Yeah.
do I stop that flow of income in order to make the rest of my business be the revenue generator? And so SQ is the system that does that to increase honestly just business growth across the board. It's a marketing program, it's an online course. It's a one-time payment. You get it forever and you go at your own pace. The coolest part to me is that people are like, "Oh, this is so bingeable, like I'm hooked." And then they go through it all really fast and then they're like 2 months later like, "Hey Lexi, I went back and I actually like changed something again and I remember." Like so people are popping in and out, like not just like you go through an online course or like it sits in your inbox in the graveyard, right?
Yeah.
um and so it's really freaking tangible and it's really like doable.
Yeah.
I like to say that I take hard things and make them easy so that you could actually do it, but more than that, so you could get the results, because I don't know how many freaking things that I've bought or tried to learn or fast track and then like it's not actually feasible, right? Like
Hmm.
it's like, oh, but then you need to buy this other thing. And it's like, what the actual F? That's not the deal. And that's to me, that's out of integrity. So like um SQ is just it's got everything in terms of business growth and a touch on leadership and business and definitely into business planning and marketing. So because those are the things you need, right? Like you need to be a better leader, but you can't really focus on that until you make some more money because like it's going to stress you out and you're not going to be able to sleep at night. And so SQ is where I tell everybody to start. Go to SQ, master SQ, and then you might not need me after that, frankly. Like my one-on-one clients, I'm like, go to this lesson in SQ, go to SQ. And they're like, oh my gosh, SQ's flipping amazing. My multi-million dollar salons that I work with in annual advisory, which is the highest tier of one-on-one coaching that we can do together, they're like, oh my gosh, like this is changing my business. I'm like, yeah, like, like this is that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. I offer master classes. I have a mastermind. There's like, you pop into my DM, say what's up, tell me what you need. Maybe there's something that we can do together. I offer intensives occasionally, pop them up where it's just one-on-one for a short period of time. But primarily, I want people to go through SQ. And I have some new things coming later in this year, but I can't spill the beans on those yet because I don't know what the details are exactly. Um,
Still
but
working them
they,
out, working it out.
yeah,
It's
they're
good.
coming. So there's something kind of like in between SQ and the mastermind, like in terms of investment and topic. But so in my world, like basically we start with specific topics so you can run through those things, get them solid because in my in my general purview about business, like you have to solidify this level before you can go to the next one. Like you just can't do the escalator. You got to take the stairs. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just have to. And so start with SQ, send me a DM, let's chat. And or start with a masterclass, right? If you're like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like start with a masterclass because it's just one thing. Some of those are free, like all over the place, but definitely SQ is it's becoming my whole personality because I believe in it so incredibly much. And I just I love seeing the results and the fact that they happen so quickly. It's almost like that best dopamine hit for me, you know,
Yes, I
as a
do.
coach. And that's what I live for.
I love that. And so we're going to have the links to this in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then I can't, like, time is flying. So, like, what is a question that I did not ask you, and how would you have answered?
Oh, okay. I mean, something you didn't ask me. Like about what? Anything?
Not anything.
Like, well, okay, here's one. So like what do I do to like what I think we didn't talk about is like what do I do to relax and unwind and take care of me as a
Oh,
human, as a leader?
okay.
And this is something that I think is really important for all of us to kind of look at because even if you don't lead other people, like let's say you're an independent or you're a commission stylist or an employee stylist somewhere, it's still your job to take care of you, right? And like you have to show up for your clients. Like you're still leading in essence in the salon and you're carrying, emotional weight of the people that we serve. And if you're a leader, this is specifically like really important because not only are you carrying the weight that you may have in your own clients, but of your staff who are carrying all the weight of those other people.
Mm,
And like, yes, we need boundaries and things in place, and we don't need to carry all of that weight, but you're still responsible for it. Like,
mm,
so I'm not saying like, like Lexi unloaded on you on the chair and like now you're like crying because like her dog died. Like, not like that. That's not what I'm
mm,
talking about. I'm talking about like physical space that you're holding for these individuals and their futures, right? So like as a salon owner, that's a lot of responsibility that you're carrying whether you know it or not, right?
yeah.
And your decisions impact others. And so you really have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of your business.
Hmm.
So that you can take care of those people so that they can take care of those people in the best way that they can. And so what do? I have a CEO day every freaking week where like no one else's agenda matters because it matters 99% of every other hour.
Hmm.
Like as a leader, as a mom, as I don't know, a human, like we put other people first. We're might likely everybody listening to this is pretty empathetic. Like we're
Hmm.
empaths. We see what people need. We know what they need before they even need it.
Yeah.
How about you? Right? And so
Mhm.
to me, like I started with once a month where I just blocked up a day and I actually called it a Lexi day. And I would go do something fun and then I would try to work and like get something out of my mind in the afternoon. And now I'm like, no, Lexi Day is different than a work day. Like, it's the CEO day is the CEO day where I have no calls and I will just do what I need to do in my business to protect my energy. Like, if I need to be creative, if I need to like pay for my business license, like these things that you don't leave them up to chance, but they have to get scheduled. And then like frankly, I usually only work a couple hours and then I'm like whatever I feel like doing. So maybe, I go somewhere with my little girl or maybe we meet dad for lunch or maybe I have the nanny still come and I go get a massage. Like
Yeah.
these sort of things like you just have to take care of you and whatever that is, you get to decide, but blocking that time out as a leader is incredibly important. And then also you got to schedule the Lexi day. The Lexi day is still very important. That's where
For
there is
sure.
no work. There is like, let me just go like to Target for a few hours, go get a pedicure, like
Target.
whatever it is, right? Like whatever your self-care is. Maybe you want to
Yeah.
just go journal or paint or sit at the beach or,
Okay.
before I had my daughter, like I mean, I love to be by myself, which is why I want to be the mailman. But I really enjoyed just going. I would take a journal and like some colored pencils and just like go sit down by the water and like draw or
Oh,
journal, whatever. Now it's like if I have free time, like I want to spend it with my daughter and with my husband. And so things change.
yeah.
But honor your priorities is I guess what I'm saying. And if you write down your list of priorities and you aren't on that list, you
Mm,
need to bump number one down,
yeah.
especially if you're in a leadership position. You just have to.
I love it.
Like
Yeah.
nobody's going to take care of you. Who's going to do
No, no one's going to take care of you the way you can,
it?
and
Right.
no one's going to brag about you the way that you can. You
No,
know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
You've got to. And people will take care of you when you hit the floor and you had to go in the emergency room
They'll
because
be like,
like
"Oh, what happened?" You
right, because
know?
you're having like a breakdown, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um and so like you just circumvent that, right? Like put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on other people. It's like so annoying that phrase, but I don't think anything else represents that visualization that we need to do
Mhm.
better.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Lexi. Thank you for being on this podcast and sharing your fabulous self with us. I
Thank you.
love it all. I know our listeners will too. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It has been a complete pleasure.
Until next time, listeners, I will talk to you soon.